飯だぞ。
リサ、これはまた壊せないものを作ったな。
飯なんだ。遠慮なく食ってくれよ。
いただきます。
人の気持ちとか絆も形あるものなのかな。家族もいつか壊れちまうのかな。親父とジジイが死んで家族は壊れちまった。でも俺たち3人は死んでもまだ家族だ。絆は壊れてねえ。俺はそういう壊れない絆を作りてえ。
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Anime Kitchen, the show where we bring the food of anime and other media to life. Today's menu, the super cute seal-shaped omurice from Fire Force. Omurice is a commonly made and widely loved meal in Japan. There are plenty of variations, but today we're making one that's comprised of a simple chicken fried rice, and we're going to top that with a beautiful soft-set omelette. Aprons on, let's go. To prepare our fried rice, we're going to start with our onion. If you've got a small onion like this one, go ahead and use the whole thing. Otherwise, if you have a large one, just use half. Either way, we're going to start by cutting this in half and removing the skin. To finely dice an onion, you're going to start by putting a horizontal cut across the middle of the onion. Then we're going to place lateral cuts with the grain all the way across before finally dicing by cutting against the grain like so. Once they're all diced up, set them aside while we focus on our chicken. Now to prepare our chicken for the fried rice, you can cut this any sort of way that you like. I personally like to cut them into nice small bite-sized pieces, so we're going to cut this breast into 2cm wide slices before cutting it into smaller chunks. Either way, once you've cut your chicken into your desired shape, just leave them aside while we prepare our eggs. Now before we start cracking our eggs, what we're going to need is a digital scale, which you're going to put under your mixing bowl and make sure you set that to 0. Then cracking the amount of eggs that you need, you're typically going to need about 2 to 3 large eggs per serving. And then you're going to want to take note of how much your eggs weigh, because based on the weight of your eggs, we're going to be adding in 10% of that weight in both milk and cream. So for example, if you have 500 grams of eggs, you're going to be adding 50 grams of milk and 50 grams of cream. Once everything's all weighed out, we can whisk this all together until nice and homogeneous. Now to make this extra silky smooth, we're going to sieve this to remove any excess air bubbles and allow it to rest while we make the fried rice. Allowing the eggs to rest is extremely important, as this gives us time for all the air bubbles that were created during the whisking process to dissipate. You want this to happen as the air bubbles trapped in the eggs can create a vacuum, causing heat to rush in, and this will actually make the eggs cook faster, and we want as much control over our eggs as possible. Alright, so before we get into this next step, I want you guys to know that my SD card had a freak out and I lost the original footage specifically of me cooking the original fried rice, and I actually had to reshoot this. So the footage that you're going to see for the next 30 seconds to a minute might be a bit different, as I was making a fried rice that I actually wanted to, make a bit more interesting rather than show accurate, but we will be using the show accurate footage once we get to the construction process. Either way, with our chicken and onion prepped, we're going to head over to the stove, and then taking a large frying pan, we're going to place this over medium heat and add in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You will be using a little bit more oil than you're expecting because you don't want to dry out that rice. We really want to coat every grain with oil later on. Once the oil is up to temp and shimmering, we're going to add in our chicken and cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's about halfway cooked. And then we're going to add in our onions and continue cooking for an additional 2 to 3 minutes or until the onions are translucent. Add in your day-old cooked rice and mix that into the chicken and onions, ensuring that you get oil covering every grain and it's nice and well incorporated. After that, we're going to add in our dark soy sauce and our ketchup. For this particular video, I used about 2 teaspoons of dark soy sauce and 3 tablespoons of ketchup, but you can adjust these ratios based on how colourful or salty or tangy you want your fried rice to be. Mixing the sauce very thoroughly to ensure that all the grains of rice and chicken and onions are coated, and then we can cook this for an additional 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're going to move it off of the heat and just let it cool down for a couple of minutes before we start constructing. Now to begin constructing our omurice, we're going to need to use a small to medium sized bowl and fill this up with our fried rice and invert it onto our plate so we have a nice dome to work with. Then we're going to put on some gloves and we're going to work this mound of rice into a teardrop shape with the thinner tip tapering downwards to the base of the plate. Then for its flippers, we're going to take some extra rice and shape these into 2 little teardrops, and then we'll place these on either side of the body. Finally, for its tail, we're going to take some extra rice and we're going to form this into a half moon crescent type of shape. After that, we should be placing 2 peas into the larger end of the seal to make eyes and 1 in the center to make a nose, and then adding small seaweed strips to make whiskers. However, I forgot to do that and did it the other way around, so we're going to put this in an oven to keep it warm while we make the eggs instead. Now to make our soft set omelette, we're going to heat 1 tablespoon of oil in a small frying pan over medium heat. When the oil is heated through, we're going to add in 1.5 to 2 ladlefuls of our egg mixture. Now we're going to let the eggs gently cook until you can see that they're just beginning to set around the edges, and then using our chopsticks we're going to start dragging them into the center. As you do this, you'll see that the wet parts of the eggs will flow back into where you were dragging in. That's perfectly fine. As you continue to do this, you'll see that less and less of the egg is very wet, and it will start to just form into this one cohesive mass. Once you reach the point where it's no longer flowing very much and you have a wet looking top but the bottoms of the eggs have completely set, we can remove this from the heat and immediately drape it over our fried rice. Now to finish off this omurice, we're going to start by creating the face of the seal. So we're going to take 2 green peas and put them on either side of the face in order to make eyes, and we're going to take one and put it below the eyes to make its nose. And then for the whiskers, I've just trimmed down some seaweed and we're going to put 3 slices on either side of its face. And then we're going to drizzle on a little bit of extra ketchup onto our omelette. Next, for accuracy, even though we're not going to eat it, we're going to garnish this with a little bit of lettuce, a piece of broccoli, and a few cherry tomatoes. And there you guys have it. This is by far the cutest thing that I've ever made in my life so far in the 24.5 years that I've existed. And it might just be the cutest thing that I'll ever make, full stop. And there you guys have it. We have an adorable little omurice here. It's so cute that I almost don't want to eat it. Almost, but let's give it a taste. And I can say with confidence that this is as delicious as it is adorable. The rice is tangy and sweet from the ketchup, the soy sauce helps to mellow things out by bringing in some savoury saltiness, and who doesn't love a bit of chicken and onion in their fried rice? Then you've got this beautiful soft set omelette which adds a lovely creamy texture to the dish. It's very easy to see why this is such a beloved dish within Japan. As always guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Like and share this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more food from anime and other media every week. And until then, roll up your sleeves, slap on an apron, and I'll see you in the anime kitchen. Peace.